evening, everybody, and welcome to ANZCAR Thunder here on Locked On Lads TV. We are here tonight at Richmond Oval, of course, Strawberry Hill itself. Joining me here tonight in the booth on the cameras, doing all the hard work and getting none of the credit, Mr. Peter Wilco Wilkinson. How you going, Wilco?
I'm excellent yourself, mate.
Not too bad at all, not too bad. We are at the tricky Richmond track tonight, Wilco. This one is going to be a challenge for those drivers. One of the short tracks out there, only 1.2 kilometres in length, so it is one of those tracks that's going to catch a fair few people out.
Yeah, I could almost walk around this one. Might take me a while, but I'd get there. But yeah, look, I've been watching, as you see just then, as we go to the checker play for practice, cars spinning all over the place, but I think that might have had more to do with practice than anything else. Richmond is a tricky little track. It will require, obviously, also brake and throttle management, also awareness of the cars that are around you, and it won't take very long for cars to go two down. Now, just a quick shout out tonight, Locked On Lads TV is brand spanking new overlay system is just going live, and for some reason we've just gone to a replay, and I have no idea why.
You just want to show it off, don't you?
Apparently, no, that's not the new part. But we are having, this has never been tested before, so I was fixing this just before launch, so there may be a few bugs. And the problem I've currently got is the frame rate is just being a little bit silly right now. So I may try and play with that a little bit in transitions to the race. But sorry for any issues we get tonight from anything like that. But for now, Carl, what do you expect out of tonight? Or do you want to go through a championship board? Because I've got a championship board right now for people to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, well, we've got the cars just starting up their qualifying laps. We'll go through the championship results quickly. So up in front is Hamish Gallagher, 28 points ahead of Michael Skurlock in second. Third, we have Jaden Russell. Fourth is Ruben Phelps. Fifth is Josh Mickelmore. Norman Clark down in sixth. Seventh is Nigel Patton. Eighth for Maddie Ray. And Dave Douglas is in ninth, with Joshua Carroll Walden rounding out the top 10. 109 points off the lead, but it is a mighty big challenge to catch that man, Hamish Gallagher, tonight.
It definitely is. We do see the likes of Matthew Hunter in 11th, Brad Fenley in 12th, Jamie Namkerv's in 13th, Andrew Dyson's jumped off the big week last week, jumped up to 14th, Greg Spencer in 15th, and the always present Raymond Yeager in 16th, equal with Tristan Koch, Hayden Schultz, Lachlan Urquio, and Luke Trahere. I like to go down to the 20 there because there may be 141 points off there, but there is some very tight battles in there in that mid-pack of the championship, and there's a lot of well-known names in there too. But yeah, we see Skirley getting up into second there on the grid. Is that something you're surprised about, considering how well Jaden Russell's been doing?
Not at all here, as Dyson just jumps up into first place. I was just about to say, watch out for Dyson. He stuffed up his first lap, had to go into the pit lane and restart that one effectively, and absolutely nailed that lap. Championship-wise, though, there are a few people that are in some odd positions. They've had some bad luck. They've had some issues. Of course, Jaden Russell, with that disconnect, has cost him a lot of points. Michael Skurlock's been very, very consistent other than that. So, you know, it's been interesting that Hamish Gallagher has been pretty much untouchable.
Yes, definitely has, and I think that will continue on for the rest of the season for the moment. I'm just trying to play. We've got a few issues with volumes, for starters. I can definitely see that. So me and Carl aren't quite the same. The bottom five that usually scrolls around on the overlay is currently missing, and that just vanished just before launch, and I don't know how to fix that. So apologies for that. The stuttering seems to have fixed itself up a little bit right now. So we'll see how we go. But look, Carl, Dyson in front. Is this going to be a constant thing we see from here on out?
Might be. Watch out for Michael Skurlock here on this second lap. I reckon he saved it up for this second lap. He's trying for a slightly different strategy, and it does pay off perfectly for him as he jumps up to P1.
That is, and look, sorry, I haven't got cameras set up or anything like that, but we are getting there. Sorry, but it's been a very, very fun evening for me. So Trev comes in and says there's no tie, Carl. Is this a thing you're going with, or is this just casual Carl for tonight?
This is me just getting home from hospital appointment, Carl. So
Okay.
unfortunately, did not have time to get fully dressed tonight.
That's okay. It's all good. Let's have a look here. I'm trying to find someone still going. No, not finding anyone at the moment. So yeah, sorry, I'm a bit not quite there at the moment, and we've got spam going in YouTube as well. So thank you everyone who's doing that. Um, yeah. So you raced on Friday night, Monday night, but that was at Chicagoland. So I can't get any expert opinion from you, but I want to hear about that just quickly before we get into the race.
Yeah, it was. I tried a different strategy. I tried a bold strategy, some may say. I was the only person to do a one-stopper in that race. I only finished a lap down. I did finish just one lap down, mind you, and did beat some people. So it was not a complete failure. The single-stop strategy, though, was probably not the quickest. It was definitely a tricky one, especially considering I had to eke out an extra 55 laps of fuel in a 100 lap race. I sort of pitted maybe a little bit too early on that first stop, so really had to save fuel at the end, but did make it home on fuel, so it was an interesting one for sure.
Yes, definitely. It would have been good to see. Now, I've got a feeling in this new overlay, the flags aren't working, so I may have to manually do that as well. So, yeah, apologies. But you will hear Carl's dulcet tones again on Sunday night, won't you, mate?
Yes, of course. I am going to be helping out with the Australasian for their E-Series. Of course, the V8s on the ovals going to be broadcasting over on their Facebook page, which there's many things coming out, of course, with Locked On Lads TV in the future for that one as well. But we are sort of doing a little wrap up for their championship of just the final two races. So we will be broadcasting on Sunday. But tonight we are lining up for the grid, getting ready for the race. So let us start getting through the track order and get ready for tonight's race. It is Michael Skurlock on pole position ahead of Andrew Dyson on the outside. Row 2, we have JCW, Josh Carroll with Hamish Gallagher. Row 3 is Dave Douglas and Lachlan Urquio. Row 4, Stevie Williams and Ruben Phelps. Row 5 is Aidan Schultz, Jason Martin. Row 6 is Jones and Micklemore. Row 7 is Jai Schultz and Kai Turner. Row 8 is Georgeson and Malone. Row 10 is Clark and Patton, 11 with Hunter and Koch. 12 is Fenlane and Curvis. 13th is Raymond Yeager, Tompkins. 14th we have Spencer and Closhley. Wesley Closhley new to the series. Then Jay Russ, Maddie Ray, Kobe Jordan, and Maxi Marshall down towards the end of the grid. As they start to roll around and get ready for the race.
Apologies, Carl. I had a mute on my microphone because I was typing stuff and then talking. Yeah, more issues. I've got writing them down as well for the issues of the podcast. That's okay, and the broadcast. But we do have a grid now, which is really cool to see. But get us ready to go, Carl, because these guys are just about there.
Sorry, did you need me to run down the grid?
No, it's all good. It's done. We just get us ready to run.
Okie dokie. So as they've come out the final corner, will be a double warm-up lap, of course, here at Richmond, because it is such a short track. So they get an extra lap to try and get a little bit more heat into those tyres. Obviously, we're dragging the brakes a little bit, trying to get a little bit of heat in there. You'll see a few people do a little bit of a wiggle here or there, maybe spin up the rears, just get those tyres with a little bit more heat in them. They want to have some temperature in the brakes as they come into the first corner. Pace car will be coming in this time around, though. We're on the back straight now, and it will be Skurlock being the effective leader here tonight for round number 7, of course, the Mad As Designs 86 here at Richmond Raceway. As pace car pulls in, we're about to go green here for the first time. Skurlock gets a great start, launches the car away nicely on the low line. We are green for the race. as they come across the start-finish line for the first time tonight, breaking into the first corner. We've got 2, 3 wide, almost a little bit further down the pack. It looks like they're making it through relatively cleanly up the front. Oh, Andrew Dyson just clips the wall. He makes contact with the wall. That's going to affect him into the second set of corners. Turns 3 and 4. He's going to lose a bit of momentum. That's going to give Hamish Gallagher the chance to make a possible move right here. Doesn't quite make the pass at the moment, but we got our first lap over and done with, and it's green.
It is green. We're still going with green. This is impressive, as Dyson's the only one to make a mistake at the moment into the wall. But look, we're going back there. Davey Douglas is up a little bit higher than we're used to seeing him this season so far. I know he's a great driver, but he's just not had the season that you expect from him, and it's really good to see him up this high, battling with the top 10 at the moment right now.
Gallagher and Dyson, just slight door-to-door contact up the front. Very close between those two. They just make it through, and Gallagher is going to come through now with Joshua Carroll-Walden behind him. Yeah, Dave Douglas having a good run up there. I think Mark Zuckerberg has put the fire in Dave Douglas's belly and got him into the mood to make a point tonight. Of course, you can find the casting couch on Twitch nowadays, as he's been kicked off of Facebook for unknown reasons.
Yes, it's never a good reason why he gets kicked off Facebook, but you can understand. Just going back in the pack here a little bit, Jaden Russell, mid-pack, 20th, trying to come back through the field. We've got Stevie Dubb actually just had a bit of a slowdown. No, people are just jumping all over the place at the moment. But Aiden Schultz is up there as well in the top 10, as he seems to be. A very consistent season at the moment. Ooh, as he gets into the wall, as I give him a bit of commentator's curse there as well. Now, Carl, quickly we'll talk about some damage tonight. Damage isn't all that important. I guess it always is important if steering and all that kind of stuff goes, and cars get damaged a little bit more than normal, but a little bit of a hit there and here and there in Richmond is a bit of a normal thing, isn't it?
Yeah, look, a little bit of a stripe, a bit like Darlington getting the Darlington stripe. It's sort of a normal thing to get a little bit of a rub on the wall. It's like, for you open wheeler fans, a bit like Monaco, of course. If you're not touching the barrier with your tyre, you're not trying hard enough. It is a very narrow track here. Very steep banking, very short track, and you can just give that wall a tiny little rub, and it just doesn't affect the car too much. But obviously, damage does stack up, so if you get a fair bit of damage to the car, especially if it's anything to the suspension, that can really start to affect the tyre wear, and tyre wear is going to be key here. Deg on that front right is going to be one of the big things. Of course, degradation to the tyre when it falls off the cliff, and that will happen. They are limited to 4 sets of tyres, as up the front there is a move by Hamish Gallagher on Michael Scurlock. The sweet 13 makes its move and gets past the 350 of Michael Scurlock.
Now the front two are running in championship order, but I don't think Scurley's going to be happy with that. I think he's going to sit there and try and get back in front. But they have opened up a nice little gap here over third place, Andrew Dyson, by almost a second.
Pushing very hard very early though, so that one thing they could start to do is that could start to affect their tyres laterally in the stint. One of the problems with these cars is when you get the tyres heated up, and when they do overheat, they are very hard to cool down. So if you get it in an operating temperatures that's just a little bit outside of range, then it's nearly impossible to get it back down in the right temperature. It's 41 degrees out there at the moment for track temperature, so it is very hot. And that could cause issue if you push a little bit too hard too soon. But people like Scurlock and Hamish Gallagher, they just have this weird ability to make the car work no matter what, as Wesley Closeley has pulled off a track and it looks like he might be out of the race.
Yeah, we're just watching here as we talk about that gap. Basically, Dyson's now brought it back, or probably cut it in half, along with the group behind. So Lockie's there and Dave Douglas is helping him as well. So they are definitely coming back to him, but well, yeah, we'll see. It's something I'm assuming people will be waiting for a bit of a caution to happen, as Richmond does tend to happen. We are 12 seconds off the lead if you ask, going back to 29th, which is Maxi Marshall, which is basically half a lap. So it won't be long if these guys are lapping sort of half a second a lap slower than the leaders. It won't be long till we have traffic at Richmond, which is always a fun thing to have, as Lockie tries to push down the inside of Dyson.
Nice move there. I think that little scrape to the wall by Dyson just threw him off a little bit. It just damaged his confidence a little bit, and he's just trying a little bit easier. We'll start getting towards the back end of the grid in around about
Ooh, as there's
7 to 8 laps, I reckon.
yes, there's a little bit of contact there between the two as Dyson and Lockie come together there. Uh, let's come down the back a little bit. Let's go to the all-important and always there Norman Clark, and let's have a look down the back of the field since the cameras, the table is not bringing the back of the grid order to you. Norman Clark is around Matty Hunter, the all-important Matty Hunter, and Raymond Yeager, as we talked about before, and Brad Fenley as well, all battling out there for that 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st position. Ryan Jones is starting to trouble Micklemore, or those who are battling it out for that 11th and 12th spot at the moment, as you can see on the timing board. Jones has got that pass done, and Micklemore will be sitting behind and hopefully getting ready to get that spot back.
Yeah, he's going to be looking at making the move. JCW, Josh Carroll making a move on Martin as well. Those two fighting away a little bit further up. Dave Douglas and Dyson as well fighting it out. Dyson gets a good run on the inside line. Looks like Dyson is actually trying to run that slightly higher line, trying to keep his tyres in a better condition at the moment. So I think Dyso's playing the long game. He is trying to keep tyre management on his list of things to do at the moment, because it looks like we might get a relatively decent green period here tonight. So if that's the case, Dyson could come back into this one a little bit later on in the stint. We'll see how that one plays out, though. We do know Dyson is a absolute master on the old road courses, and he's quite good at looking after the tyres as well. So he might be thinking the long-term game. But Hamish Gallagher is pretty much untouchable in the Xfinity car at the moment. He is just really the king of the Xfinity series, and one would say the god of thunder. He has been having a fantastic run recently, and he is absolutely going for it still out front, still setting some of the fastest times out there, just ahead of Michael Skurlock.
Yeah, it's definitely an impressive performance once again, and it'll be interesting to see how he does get through the traffic. But as we talk, Lockie is about a second back to them, and actually Lachlan's actually picked up a bit of a gap on Andrew Dyson. It's an interesting thing especially after Dyson's really good performance last week. Richmond is obviously a far different beast to Dakota, obviously, but he just seems to be opening up that gap a little bit more. Like it's a second now between Lockie back to Dyson, and we're looking at Dave just sitting there enjoying his time. Oh, what do we got?
We had 3 wide going through the corner between Russell, Micklemore, and who was that on the outside? I'm just trying to see who that was. I think that was Kai Turner on the outside there. So Kai Turner getting a hefty bump on the front there. All kept nice and clean. They all kept it going. Just a heavy impact Kai Turner's car. The K-Tech Motorsport entry just getting a little bit of a knock there, and that's going to just shake him off for a couple of laps. But some serious racing going on down the back of the field. Ryan Jones has pulled away from this pack, and he's starting to catch up to the back of Stevie Dubb in that livery on the DPR car. It is a very, very pretty silverish white. It's got a slight silvery glint to it now. Just having a bit of a look at that new livery. So slight update to that car, which is always nice to see.
Yes, definitely is. But just quickly, Aiden Schultz is holding with Ryan Jones as they go up there. It's the interesting one is Jaden Russell. Although Jaden Russell, to be fair, is up 15 places at the moment. So that is an absolutely amazing run from him so far. And I think he's going to get on the back of these 3 fairly soon as they start to close that gap to the group ahead. As I think, if we go back up the front quickly, Lockie's catching up because we've finally got traffic coming into play. Yes.
So Hamish Gallagher's taken a very high line now. He is basically running the bubble. So you get a little bit of an air bubble, air cushion on the side of the wall here. He is using that to his advantage a fair bit right now. As Lachlan loses the rear end as they get across the start-finish line, he manages to save it. That back end starting to step out. But Lockie is starting to save his tyres a little bit. Taking a very different line. It's not the fastest line, but it's a little bit softer on the tyres. So I think he's going into a little bit of tyre preservation mode. while Skurlock is going in full Skurlock mode, but he has got a lot of traffic to deal with here. Of course, the thing of oval racing is there's no blue flags. We say it week in and week out, but it is one of those things. They don't get a blue flag, and it's it really does mean you have to race those guys that you're lapping, and most of them will sort of get out of the way once the leader is passed, but they will fight the leader. Because yeah, they really do put a lot of effort in there.
They do, but they are getting through that pack pretty well now. Good work to the guys saying hi there. Yeah, these guys have got through that first little problem all okay. Davey Douglas is back there as well. He seems to be just coming up to this batch as well with Andrew Dyson, as Andrew Dyson... Oh, Andrew Dyson has made a hit.
Oh, caution, yellow
that is a caution up on the board. He's actually... Ooh, let's go back.
Oh, he's got collected by a teammate as well, I think.
Okay, we'll have to look at that on a replay in a sec. From a teammate, that's unfortunate.
Got collected by Stevie Dub. That is really unfortunate there. He just goes underneath, gets caught up with Tristan Koch, unfortunately, spins it round, and then he accelerates to try and spin it back round, and then
whoa, we've gone way back too far.
Big accident. So he's tried to flick spin it in the right direction, but unfortunately it's just shot him up the track and hit Stevie Dub. He really needed to hold his brakes there and not try and sort of save it there. It would have been an absolute heroic move if it worked, but you know, 9 times out of 10, something like that is not going to work, unfortunately. So see here, he just tries to accelerate out of it, flick spin it, and he just goes straight into his teammate Stevie Dub. Huge impact to the front of that car. That's going to hurt it a lot, and that is going to be it's going to be a hefty penalty as well for the 41, unfortunately. Not holding your brakes is not looked upon fondly.
No, definitely is not. I'm just trying to get it from Stevie Dub's point of view here. Apologies for the camera work. It's not the best tonight, but he's coming around behind the Natari car there. And in full speed. Yes, you can see him come back up. He was... Yeah, unfortunately, taking both of them out of the race now, I think, because that doesn't sound good from Stevie Dub's car either on the exit of that.
Drivers get very lucky, and that was actually the M&M's car of Ryan Jones. He was right behind Stevie Dub in that incident, and he almost got caught up in that one. So, yeah, he got very lucky to not get involved in that one. He just slammed on the brakes and just had enough room in there to slow that car down as well. So good situational awareness there. But they'll all come into pit lane, get a fresh set of boots on, get some fuel in the car as well. They won't need too much to the end here. It is mainly going to be a thing of getting some fresh tyres on the car, because that's going to make the difference.
Yeah, we are 32 laps into 115, so we did almost go the full 30% of track distance, which is pretty good. They will be looking to definitely make this set of tyres work. How many do we get, Carl? 4 sets of tyres in the Thunder series?
It is indeed. So you start off with the sets. That means you've got 3 sets to play with through the race. So everybody has come in, slapped a set of tyres on. I can't see anybody has... it looks like everybody's done all 4 sets. Maybe Tristan Koch has rolled the dice. I'm just going to go back and actually see at him. Because he may have just taken rights only. But I think pretty much everybody going for the full service tonight. So just going back to have a little look-see at that one. And yeah, so Koch just taking the right side. So he tried something a little bit different. He is a lap down, though, unfortunately. But I think he might be recipient of the lucky dog. So if he does get that, it could be fairly useful for him. But he is the first car a lap down now. So if there is another caution, which we sometimes see, look, cautions breeding cautions, it is one of those things.
It is, definitely.
He can get that lap back, and he could be setting himself up for a decent position there. The only thing he's got to be careful of is the car will be a bit uneven now. When you put your foot down, those tyres can be a little bit fun when they get up to speed, so it can sometimes throw you out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So we're looking at... So the best times these guys were doing coming in... at the start of the race was the 22.7s, 22.6s. Is a quick scan of the top runners. When they're coming in, they're doing the mid to high 23s there. So this will get some fast pace back into the race, which is really good to see, and hopefully some good battling. Davey Douglas sitting there in 4th. Very good effort from him. Obviously, the guy he was in front of him no longer in the race. But yeah, Skirley getting ready here, and off he goes. Another great start from Michael Skirlock, something we're getting very used to seeing. Hamish, though, putting himself right in position. And Lachlan Urquio is there as well. All three of them just straight in line, and hopefully going to work together to keep this thing clear, as we are too wide a little bit further down in the field. As we see, Andrew Dyson's come back out there into 12th, which is really good to see. All that damage in the rear, we'll see how much that affects him later on as he starts to come back through the field. But he's coming out there in 12th. As Jaden Russell, we talked about him before, starting so low on the grid. He's pushed himself up 21 positions now to be banging on the door of the top 5, which is a great spot to be in.
Yeah, nice run so far. Oh, who's that in the background sideways? Oh, big save there. I think, just trying to see who that was. There was somebody who had a big moment out the corner. Not exactly sure who that was, but yeah, there was a couple of boats there. They had a big moment through the exit of the corner, just getting that car saved. So yeah, very close to a caution there, but we did not get it, luckily. So that is good news. Good news for some, bad news for others, of course. But we got the race up the front as Dave Douglas just gets a bit of a clip into the wall, I think, or gets very close to it. Just has to do a little bit of avoidance. I think he just managed to save that one. Having a good run so far up there.
JCW sitting right behind him as well, snuck up in the field as well. Didn't notice that happening.
Yeah, keep an eye out on JCW as he's lurking around there. He's not had the easiest start to the season, but hopefully, you know, that's the thing about a season. It can turn around. As we got an accident at the back, it is one of the SRM cars, and Kobe Jordan, the 80 of Noddy Tompkins and Kobe Jordan have made contact, unfortunately, and that's brought out the yellow as they were just going into turn 1 and just possibly a little bit unsighted, possibly got the all clear for Noddy, and he has got around, unfortunately, just catching the front of Kobe. So I reckon what happened there is the spotters said all clear. He's tried to go down, and unfortunately there was a couple of millimeters of that front splitter sitting there.
Yeah, and unfortunately got the second hit as well as he was sliding down with nowhere to go. Unfortunately, shouldn't be much damage there, but obviously he's brought out a caution. He'll be able to get back out and track there, and shouldn't be an issue at all getting going again, hopefully. But yeah, another caution. What are we looking at for pit lane here, Carl? What do you reckon? What's your call? 7 laps.
Stick it
Shouldn't.
out.
Yeah, you'd stick it out, wouldn't you?
A few cars coming in just to get some repairs done. So Norman Clark coming in for a quick repair job, as well as Dyson and Jordan. So just a couple of people just getting a couple of quick repairs done under this caution flag, which is exactly when you want to try and do it, just to get the car hammered out, slightly straightened up. What this does is it means that those tyres are going to be a little bit fresher for the rest of the race. It means that fuel will probably not be an issue at all now. So, you know, it's going to be a thing of sticking it out there and seeing who can keep those tyres alive now. If we get a big long green stint from here, then that could make a really interesting race to the end, as some people tried some different strategies. Maxi Marshall getting the wave round, getting the lucky dog, so that's worked out very well for him indeed. So he's back on the lead lap, and that's 26 cars now on the lead lap here at Richmond Raceway.
Definitely. I'm just trying to read a few comments. Luke Trahare's in our chat talking away about a time 22.350 in the 350. It's meant to be 22.350 in the 350 car. Yes, I get it now. It's a little bit slow tonight. Very good pick up there, Luke Trahere. look, obviously Dyson taking full advantage of these yellows, and the more yellows he can get, gets his car back up to scratch. CV Dub still running around the track. No, he's not 5 laps down. I looked at the wrong part of the sector, the board. Sorry.
He's 5 laps down.
Yes, but yeah, look, still going well. Jaden Russell sitting there in 6th, as we mentioned before. Some other big movers. Let's go back to Raymond Yeager here while we're under caution, 10 laps up. Matty Raymond, does he ever go down positions? I've never heard of that before. It was up 13 places from where he started. Very, very good effort from him.
It is very rare that you see him dropping down the field. Generally, because he has a habit of not qualifying.
Yes.
But he is very good at working his way up through the pack. The man that's done a great job tonight, though, is Jaden Russ. Jaden Russ is really doing a great job. I don't know if he hit a couple of walls in qualifying, or if he just had a so I think he actually made contact with the walls in qualifying, so he didn't end up setting a lap, I think, is the issue.
Yeah.
So that is why he started so far down. So he's done a really good job of recovery in this race so far. And he's going to want to try and recover and keep as close to Hamish Gallagher as possible, because that is his championship rival at the moment. Of course, the other championship rival is Michael Skurlock, and he is sitting there currently in the lead of this pack
Holding
as they get ready to go
too.
green once more.
Yes, and takes it away. He held them up a long time. Hamish was almost well in front of him there, but Gurley got the jump and he's put it out the gap. Hamish will just drop down now beautifully, and Lockie will sit behind, with Dave Reynolds getting hung out to dry as Jaden Russell gets his way up to 5th and now pushing for 4th. He'll have 4th by the end of this corner here. It's whether Dave will be able to fight back down the straight, as we see, but very predictable start. Just bad luck for Davey Douglas getting pushed back there a few spots. Joshua Carroll-Walden coming alongside the Purple Mitch Motorsport car, Jason Martin. That's the name that I was trying to grab. Well done. And Ryan Jones sneaking there in the top 10, but Aiden Schultz has got ahead of him. And one name we haven't mentioned tonight at all, Ruben Phelps, up into the top 10. Which is interesting. He started 8th and he is 8th, but we haven't mentioned him at all.
That's it. It's, look, when you're not being mentioned in a motor race, sometimes it's not a bad thing at all, because it means that you're having a relatively uneventful night, but it can mean that you've had a good night as well.
Luke Georgian as well, I would shout out. He's up to 12th place here at the moment, right behind Jay Schultz. A couple of names that, look, are here every week, but we just don't get to talk to them about them as much. So... yeah, it's good to see these guys doing very well as we speak. Andrew Dyson back at the pack, trying to catch back up.
Just up at the front, Jaden Russell making a move on Lachlan Urquio. He's trying to get underneath, can't quite make it stick at the moment. Lockie doing a good job of defensive driving. Lockie pretty good on the short tracks. Of course, the ANZCAR ARCA Series champion a few seasons back, so does have a championship belt under his race suit for the ARCA series, and has had some good runs on the short tracks. And this is one of the things we will see, is it's a very different style of racing on this slightly shorter track system. Is you will see some different names crawling up there on the slightly higher speed. Sometimes they struggle a little bit. It's those extra couple of minutes
going on the back. Sorry to cut you off there. Luke Georgeson is Raymond Yeager's going down the inside of him. Almost came to grief as well. There was a bit of a wobbling after they got very close to each other and almost caused a caution. But Luke's unfortunately dropping back a little bit as Kai Turner gets past him as well. Sorry to cut you off there, Carl. But yeah, it was almost a thing. Josh Mickelmore coming up through the field as well, with Adam Malone just behind him.
Kai Turner just gets a bit loose on the exit of the corner there as well. Just in front of Josh Mickelmore. He's keeping that defensive line, and Josh can't do anything at the moment. He's going to try and get down to the inside of Kai if he can. That's his only opportunity, as Luke is basically sort of got Josh Mickelmore stuck. Now Luke manages to slide it in to a single car line. He was kind of hung out to dry on the outside there. Mickelmore trying to make the pass.
We'll see if Kai Turner might get stuck in the same position Luke was just in here. Those cars are very tightly packed there, and it's nowhere to move in. The spotter won't be telling him to clear at the bottom for any time soon. But he is holding his own on that high line, which is really good to see.
Yeah, you can make that high line work. It's a bit tricky. He just makes a little bit of a scrape to the wall, I think. Matt Hunter as well, just behind him. He's working his way through the field as well. Meanwhile, up the front, it is Skurlock in the lead. Sorry, if it's Micklemore, that would be very impressive overlap. It is Skurlock in the lead, of course, the BMX bandit himself, being a bandito and running away with it at the front. Hamish Gallagher just behind him, just gets a tiny clip of the apron, a little bit sideways, but saves it. Dave Douglas, big wiggle across the line for Dave. Saves that one nicely. He's got Joshua Carroll-Walton right behind him with Jason Martin sitting there in 7th. There is absolutely nothing covering the top 7 at the moment. These guys are very close together. And then, there's not much covering the rest of the field as well. It's pretty much a car length apart. But Skurlock has managed to build a nice lead up the front by almost 0.8 of a second.
As we go back down to this battle pack, I was noticing before they had to be at least 2 wide at one stage for a fair chunk of them. There was a lot of movement on the board there for sort of 15th, 13th through to 20th there. They're all packed in nicely. Raymond on the outside here. I don't think he'll mind that. Luke sitting there. But the group ahead, so that group we were focusing on with Raymond Yeager and Micklemore have actually skipped away. So there must have been something actually happened. That's a huge gap to come up now. There's almost 2-second gap back from Micklemore back to Adam Malone. So Luke has gone back there pretty quickly as all the action now happens behind.
I think it's just Josh Micklemore deciding to push the go fast button at the moment. He is setting some very quick times.
You're expecting him to be up the front in 1 lap, so he's lifting to the challenge.
Exactly, he's doing as I say. It's the ultimate commentator's curse / boon, I guess. Commentator's buff, we should say.
That's it.
No, he's got some clean air and he's absolutely making it work at the moment, trying to chase down Raymond Yeager. So he's going to try and catch up there. 56 laps remaining still, so a long way to go here tonight at Richmond, up at Strawberry Hill. So we'll keep this race going along. There's still some great battling going on. The big battle pack is pretty much from 16th onwards. There are some serious fights going on. 2 pinnacle drivers of Greg Spence and Nigel Patton at the moment. Those 2 having a ding-dong battle side by side a little bit further down the field, with Fenley just behind them and recovering Stevie Dub trying to get that car with minus a nose, with a little bit of extra cooling on that vehicle at the moment.
Yeah, look, and Andrew Dyson has come back. He's just taken Kai Turner, so he's made his way up to 18th, which is a pretty good effort considering the damage. Like we said, the damage is all in the rear, so it's not going to be a huge problem for him. And he did do pretty well in that last caution to get out just in front of the pace car each and every time. But he's coming back through the field pretty well, as Matty Hunter doing a bit of exploring there on the track, trying to find out the different lines as he goes up and down. As we got behind, Luke Georgeson is spun but holds it and doesn't bring out the yellow. It'd be interesting to see what happened there, but that was him and Dyson coming together.
Yeah, a little bit of contact in the rear by Dyson. Dyson actually straightened him up there, so Dyson sort of doing a bit of good service work there for him. He just braked a little bit too late, caught the back of Luke, and then just straightened him up and got Luke back in the right direction there. So really, it cost Luke a few positions, but no harm, no foul, you can kind of say. It was one of those little mistakes. It was just a little bit of different braking zones. Quite a bit of damage to the front of the Vision Motorsport car of Matty Hunter, the 48, as you said. He's wrinkled at the front right of that vehicle at the moment. But that is definitely not night over. Meanwhile, there's a good battle going on for 4th place between J. Russ, Douglas, Carol Walden and Martin. Very big names, very good drivers, all previous winners. We've got a whole spat of people that have won out here tonight as well, and it's great to see so many different people, so many different prior victors as well in the series. Just shows how close the competition is. A little bit further back, Ruben Phelps and Ryan Jones almost make contact side by side. Ryan Jones trying to get on the inside, can't quite make it work. That car just slid up the track a little bit. Ruben holding that high line at the moment, but Ryan's got it turned in better this time. That front end stuck much better this time round, and he's got that through. Very nice design there from Ryan Jones.
Yeah, definitely. He's always up there around that top 10 and doing good and looking after his tyres, which is a really good thing. So we've been going now for about another 26 laps since the last caution. These guys are sitting on about 35 laps since they pitted last. The only one that come in was obviously Andrew Dyson but not for tyres. So that was 23 laps ago was when the caution was. So these guys are pushing into the territory. The lap times are out to that mid 23s at the moment, so they're losing about a second a lap to what they are on the fresh tyres. But we are looking at roughly, we're over halfway now. They've got about what they've done since on their tyres again, so it'll be interesting to see how much this drop off is, and if anyone considers a green stop just to get a bit of an undercut, which I don't see it happening. I think, Carl, they can get to the end. The tyres should be okay, my understanding.
It might be asking a little bit. You do get quite a lot of wear on that right front.
The right front, yeah.
Yeah, it's... I think they might just struggle a little bit. They'll definitely try. If they think it's possible, somebody will try it. But we might see a few of those right fronts go poppity pop.
Okay, so can I ask you a question then? What's the odds of us going to the end without another caution?
Well, given the recent racing we've had in the ANZCAR series, there is a pretty high chance. I'd go with going to go with a 70% chance that it goes without a caution. We've had some really good clean racing recently. A lot of green flag laps, which has been great, and it's always good to see. And if we do go green, I think we might see a couple of people just roll the dice in probably the next 10 laps, I'd say. Next 5-10 laps come in, but it is a lot of time lost if you come in on a green flag stop here, so they will be thinking about that too. So it's one of those tricky things. It's sort of, there's a lot of time you've got to make up if you do come into pit lane, but obviously if your tyre goes bang, then that's going to be a lot of time lost as well.
So where do you start thinking about it? I know you did one stopper the other night, but where do you start thinking about it? 80, 90? Does it really start playing on your mind, or you just start feeling the car being too hard to handle and then jumping out at that stage?
If you start feeling it too hard to handle, that's when you're just going, look, that's it, I'm going to try something different. A lot of these guys are able to keep it going, and it's one of the advantages, I guess, is
Jaden's hit just about 2 cars in 100 meters. One being the lap car of Kobe Jordan, and then
Marshall.
What was it? And then I came back and almost got Dave as well. But very, very good racing. Just keep it clean in there. But Dave really does get it right in the end there, right in the back of him there, and just checking out how the aero looks underneath the back of Jaden Russell's car there.
Getting a good look at the stickers that are exhaust pipes. No, it is. They are going well out there at the moment. They are really doing some good runs, and just looking, as you say, sort of time-wise, I mean, a degradation's not too huge. They might be really considering it. So, as I say, we might see a couple of people try for a stop, but I think most of them are going to just stick it out there and see what happens.
Yeah, we don't have to go too far back through the field, and it could be, I don't think these guys are hitting lap traffic, but the sort of the top, outside the top 10 are really doing 24.1s, 24.2s now a lap, which is getting out that 2 seconds a lap. But with, only 40 laps to go, you're going to lose more time than you're going to gain, I think, especially if there's a yellow.
It's the tricky thing of there's not enough pace advantage to make it. As I say, the only real reason to do it is if you're able to, if you feel like the tyre's going to completely drop off and you're going to actually have issues, which I don't think they will. So they will be, they would be pretty happy to see a yellow flag appear relatively shortly, so they could get some fresh boots on the cars. But I think most of them are just going to stick it out and try their luck, because the amount of time you're going to lose in pit lane here is just going to be, it's not worth it. You're not going to gain that back for sure. There's not enough time difference to really start clawing that back.
Yeah, as we got someone going into the pit there, that's probably
Luke Georgeson.
Luke George, and there you go. He's heading into the pits. He's had enough of the tyres he's on, and throw the gamble because he got a little bit of a hit before, but it wasn't damage, so it's got to be a tyre pit, I would assume. But like I said, around as Ryan Jones gets very sideways at the back there as well, sitting there in eighth place. But he is catching up very well to the back of to Jason Martin and that group that's sitting behind Jaden Russell, where they are not quite on the podium as Jason Martin actually makes a move down the inside of JCW. They're not quite on the grid, but they're close on the podium, but they're very close to being a chance of the podium if you're in this group right here, if anything happens to anyone up front.
Yeah, you want to be there or thereabouts, and they're thereabouts at the moment. JCW and Jason Martin having a good battle here at the moment, though. The Purple Mitch Monster on the inside of the 35 Natari car, trying for the drag race. JCW is going to get a little bit better run on the outside at the moment. Martin's going to get a better run on the inside on the turn in of the corner. So these two are going to be racing it, and while they do that, it's just going to help Ryan Jones catch up to the back of them.
As I said, so Hamish Gallagher's just gone into the 24-second laps as well at the moment. Ryan Jones is actually one of the very few people still in the 23s, which is only barely, but he is definitely on. Is right on the back now of these two. As Jaden Russell and Dave Douglas up ahead come together and somehow don't bring out a caution. They're both very well sideways, smoke signals going everywhere, and they've managed to hold on to that. What do you reckon there, Carl? Have you gone back and had a look at what happened there exactly?
Yeah, so it looks like J. Russ has just had a little bit of contact with Dave. Dave on the inside, Jaden just coming down, possibly got the all clear, just not enough room there, just pinched Dave a little bit. And then Dave sort of gave him a little bit of self-righting at the moment as well, so pointing it back in the right direction. So a little bit of little bit on both drivers effectively, but not much Dave could do in that position because he was sort of right on the inside line. He couldn't drop any lower than he was really. So just one of those little racing incidents, you got to say.
Yes, definitely. As Dave has actually ducked out a little bit now from this group, as these group battle too wide the whole way around, is bringing Ruben Phelps right back into it as well. We are 4 seconds back then to Aiden Schultz, but we'll have to keep an eye on that on if he can catch up to these guys in the background. But
they are catching. Sorry, Wilco. They are catching up on a whole heap of lapped cars as well. There is a plethora of lapped cars, and this has actually helped Lachlan Urko catch up to Hamish Gallagher. So interesting there. So they are catching up nicely.
So the next car that's not lapped yet is Norman Clark, as I think he just about goes. He's just about to go a lap down anyway. This is the top 15, top 16 is the only ones on the lead lap now, which is going to make things interesting, especially if I try and keep Luke Georgeson went 2 laps down going in for that pit stop. He's coming out and doing 22.9s though, which is not
coming in for pit lane.
Who's that?
So. Brad Fenley's coming to pit lane as well. So Luke's gonna, he was a lap down to begin with, remember? So he was a lap down, but he will be gaining a lot of time right now. He will get a huge undercut, and if everybody else has to pit, he is going to be sitting pretty. He's going to be able to jump a whole heap of cars as he just flies past JCW and Ruben Phelps actually. So he's catching up to the lead pack, so he will eventually unlap himself 1 lap, and that will be a nice thing to have. But the question is as well, fuel, I guess, was the other thing, because it is a relatively long stint. It shouldn't touch and go, I think. So I think they are okay, but that's me doing maths off the top of my head and trying to think of the fuel tank on this car. The fact they didn't come into pit lane in that last portion
splash was a key indicator that I think they're right on fuel. So as Luke does get the job done on Jaden Russell to only have the handful, the 4 ahead of him now, to get himself at least 1 lap back up. It's very, he's still doing, he's a bit of traffic there. I think Jaden held him up a little bit. He's still doing a good lap, a second lap quicker than other cars around him as he flies around. The predictors putting him at about a mid 23 again anyway. But yeah, unless the tire's going to blow, I don't see enough of an advantage here for the guys up front. Obviously, they're going to cruise home and hopefully wait for a caution at some stage.
But it's a bit of a roll of the dice, and sometimes that can pay off. It's, you know, taking these slightly different strategies. They don't always work for you, but
Ooh.
you know, if it does, it works out nicely as it just gets past Dave Douglas there. So he is catching up to get back at least one lap down. And then, you know, he's going to start catching people like Maxi Marshall and people like that. So Maxi Marshall's in his grasp as well now. And he will be caught relatively quickly.
Ooh.
So,
as Matty Hunter again is doing a lot of exploration back there as well, going up and down the track. I think his tyres have had better days by the look of it. Sitting now right in front of Jaden Russell as he's about to scoot on by. But Matty's not having the best time out there right now.
oh, big puff of smoke up in front there of Matty Hunter.
You've got a yellow.
Oh, it is Wesley Closely there, who has had a moment as Luke Georgeson was actually getting past him, and Closely's just come down into Georgeson. So, that's disastrous. And that has really hurt Georgeson's gamble. But this is what all those drivers up the front will be.
Yes, it did.
Will be looking forward to.
So Luke got out of that pretty well unharmed. He just got the hit. Wesley, it's one of those ones where, you know, it's a yellow. He slowed down on track kind of thing, but it was I guess Richmond, there's no real runoff area, so you can't really have a car in the walls 90 degrees and not call a yellow. But it was line ball.
Who was that missing pit lane?
Wesley stayed out. I saw that, which is interesting. The one to watch is, did people stay up, because that's going to catch Luke Georgeson up as well, because he'll need to try and get past the pace car, which I don't think he will right now. But
no, it's hurt his race enormously, unfortunately. It will help a few drivers out. I think Greg Spencer is the lucky dog from memory. But there will be a few cars that get back onto lead laps. Just looking to see.
It's fascinating, this little section. This is the caution we needed right for the end.
Yeah, so this, as I think Jaden Russell has.
He's dropping down the list. He's not even in this world at the moment.
Yeah, he's got an end of line penalty, and I think he might have
vanished.
Might have disconnected, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've got him not in the server right now, which is
hopefully
twice now in the season. That's going to cost his championship, although he does get the 2 drop rounds. But that's huge. That promotes Dave Douglas up into 4th position, though. Inherited it, which is really good to see from him after the struggles he's had. Let's keep an eye out. So Andrew Dyson's got himself back up to 13th from his earlier incident, which is from the restart, 13th. He won't be far off that top 10 position again, which will be a good comeback from him. Stevie Dubb holding his own at 5 laps down from that same incident. But other than that, Josh Bicklemore has not had the best result out of that. He's dropped back down to 15th after being up in that top 10 for a while. Jay Schultz and Aiden Schultz are running line astern now. So Jay's coming out of that really well. Jason Martin is sitting in 6th, which is about where he was, I guess, as well. But right now, Matthew Raymond is the biggest mover of the field at 17 spots up from where he started. Other than that,
to everybody's surprise.
Exactly. Other than that, like, Ryan Jones is up 6 spots, which is really good considering when you start at 11th. Like, up 6 spots is a great call. And even Lachlan Oakwio, when you start in 7th, there's not far to go, but he's up 3 spots. And as we said, Jason Martin before. I've got who's bouncing around. Oh, Adam Malone's going forward and back there a little bit. I saw someone jumping well up the field, but they weren't. Raymond Yeager up 9 spots into 14th as well as another good call. So we are too wide.
16 lap dash now to the end. This is where we're probably going to see cautions breeding cautions, because people are going to be going for it. Pace car comes in. When is Skurley going to drop it? He drops it now, gets a good launch off the corner, gets everybody napping once again. Skurlock gets a fantastic restart. So does Gallagher and Okio. They get away nicely. Ryan Jones trying to get down the inside of Dave Douglas. Will he make it? Dave Douglas is really going to put the pressure on, but Jones is got a good run now. He's going to have a nice run down the inside. Dave Douglas gets in, makes a little bit of contact in the side. Jason Martin gets a little bit of contact in the rear of Jones as well. But that means Dave Douglas has got clear. That's going to give Josh Garwalden the chance to get up there. Look for Ruben Phelps as well, moving his way up with Aiden Schultz, I think that was. Aiden Schultz getting past Ruben Phelps. He just tags the wall. Ruben Phelps manages to collect the car and save it. As all around goes Matty Ray. Matty Raymond has spun it, and he is in the wall.
That is unfortunate, as we see him do a spin kick. Let's kick flip thing. I don't know words right now. Let's go back and have a look at the replay.
So what we will see here is Jai Schultz, I think it was, just behind him, just braking a little bit late, tries a late lunge down inside and just clips the back of Matty Ray, and up and around Matty Ray goes.
And how hard does he crack this wall there? That's front end damage, probably some steering damage, but obviously the amount of positions he was up, and he's once again not held the brakes, and with another car coming around the end there, but he didn't cause the problems we saw before. Just quickly, we've got Wesley in chat in YouTube, Locked On Lads YT. He apologised. His crew chief stopped working. That's what happened to him.
Oh, that is unfortunate indeed. It's one of those things that does happen, of course, and we've spoken about it a few times. I think I was watching a race with fellow commentator occasionally and long-time driver, of course, Mr. Steve Hoppett. I was watching a race of his the other day, and his crew chief called all clear on the inside, and you look to the inside and there was a car right next to him. And you're just like, I think the crew chief is wrong. Unfortunately, it is one of those things that can happen. Easy mistake to make, sadly. And especially when crew chief goes wrong, we do rely on it so much. It is an important part of oval racing. If you're new to oval racing, to watching and things like that, crew chief effectively is it's a third-party program that calls out when there's a car beside you, and it helps you out with bits of strategy, and it'll effectively works as a crew chief for you. Does a few calculations on fuel and things like that just to help you out, and little bits like that. But the most important thing is telling you if there's a car inside or outside, and when there is a car on the inside and it doesn't call it right, it can really cause disaster. And you might just want to hit the live button.
No, I've pressed the live button. Sorry, I've also pressed the mute button. I'm trying to do 5 things at once. Our host podcast, Locked On iRacing podcast, Braden Martin, alerted me to the fact that I hadn't gone live again. But we're getting some good shots there from the Digger too, which is pretty cool. As we look at the cars coming around turn 1, 2. Pretty good shape, most of them in, considering we're at Richmond, of all places. There's not a huge amount of scrapes down the side of any cars there. Obviously, Stevie Dub's the exception to the rule. And if you look at the back of Matty Raymond's, also the Matty Raymond's car.
I think you might need to get you for an eye test, Wilco. There are a few cars with a couple of dings on them, but they're definitely not the worst we've ever seen.
Not as bad as you'd normally get at Richmond. I remember my car at Richmond. I think I almost got disqualified at Richmond. That was it, no all that much, and that's how you break the car.
You had a car at Richmond? All I remember was there was a seat on the infield on fire.
Yeah.
With a Locked On logo on it.
That was probably it. It was one of my best finishes last season in the Thunder, actually, I must admit. The old Richmond, I got spun across the line by someone, and otherwise we're all good.
As we get ready to get going once again at 9 laps. It is a tricky track, Richmond, and it is one of those places where, you know, it's a fun track to race at as well. When it's going right, it is really fun, but it is easy to have that mistake. Skurley does not wait at all. I was just about to say we're about to go green, and Skurlock just absolutely drops that loud pedal. He is away like a whippet with dynamite up its bum. He is flying away up at the front of the field.
And once again, these five sitting here from fourth back to sort of eighth, eighth, ninth, are all battling it out at the restart, which is helping Hamish and Michael Skurlock just belt away from this. Lockie hasn't had the best of starts considering how he started the last few, as Dave Douglas dives down the inside here, but can't quite make it stick right. Yeah, but Ryan Jones is going to get behind him, and let's see if they can get the run on the straight here and dive down again on the side of Lockie.
Douglas going for a real lunge there. Lockie just going a little bit high. He's going to try and get a good run out the corner so he can get out in front and lock it off in front of him, and he does that. Nice driving there from Lachlan. Very nice save. There's always a bit of an impact a bit further down the field. I think it was Stevie Dubbett in the wall, but no harm there, no caution, as we have got Jones and Douglas side by side now. Jason Martin just behind him. Bit of contact a little bit further back. Luke Georgeson, I think, just got a bit of a tap as well. But still looking green at the moment. The racing is fast and furious. Up the front, it is Skurlock in the lead. 5 laps remaining in this one. Hamish Gallagher second. Creo in third. Dave Douglas defending against Ryan Jones at the moment. Doing his hard charge. He just gets into the wall. Contact in the wall for Douglas. This is going to give Jones the opportunity. Look at Jason Martin. Will he get the pass done? Doesn't quite get it there for Jones. He just takes a slightly tighter line. And it is so close. It's we got a wreck in the background. It's Josh Micklemore.
No, and he's still running into the Xbox apparently sponsored. Is that Adam Malone? No. I need to get my eyes checked anyway. But let's have a look at what happened there.
Yeah, that was Jai Schultz. Jai Schultz into the side of Micklemore, and unfortunately he gets caught up on the front of Malone. And yeah, it's just sort of they just sort of get caught up and linked into each other there.
There was almost a little bit of netcode from that angle by the look of it when they came together, those two. But yeah, it almost took out Raymond Jaeger there as well, and as Micklemore was bouncing around there. As I see, let's just go to there, and we'll take it. No, it won't give me that angle. It'll give me that angle there.
Unfortunate there, and it's just Jaeger's made contact with Malone, pushed him up into Micklemore. Micklemore's sort of gone round, and then they've sort of just got caught up with each other, unfortunately. And there was another car off on the infield as well.
Oh, it's Ruben. No, Ruben gets through. It
was Maxi Marshall, unfortunately. So a lot of drivers caught up in that one. That means we are going to get
Is it going to be a green white checker? Last time we called that, it didn't happen.
Yeah, let's see if it actually lets me know if the green white checker is going to happen this time around.
Otherwise, Michael Skurlock is currently winning the race. Oh, Matty Hunter gets right into the back of Maxi Marshall there. I think Maxi must have slowed down, like my graphics is trying to do right now. There's a big shunt. That's an interesting one. But yeah, like I said, so we don't know. Last time we called the green white checker, it was not a green white checker. My computer shall be getting upgraded in my 2 weeks holiday from here, because the memory at the moment is
green white checker.
We have a green white checker. Here we go.
Yep, got a green white checker coming up. So
now quick question, sorry. Green white checker, is this where we got in trouble last time? There's only one green white checker, so if we do have a spin, there will not be another caution, or there will be a caution. No, there's only one green white checker. So you only got the one chance. So if effectively what happens is you get one lap of green racing, you then go to the white, and then if anything happens in the white, it keeps going until the end, of course. And that is the finish of the race. So it's a 2-lap sprint, effectively. So it is going to be an absolute sprint to the finish here now.
Who is going to make this one pay off? Who is going to make this one work? It's going to be an interesting little battle now. I'm just looking through my field at nobody deciding to take late tyres just in case. They're all going for that. They're all pretty happy with their tyres that they've got, which are relatively low on mileage. But Skurlock is going to hope for that lightning start again. He is going to want to try and get away as quick as he can and try and fend off a fast-charging Hamish Gallagher. Of course, Lachlan Urquhart is going to have Dave Douglas all over him. Watch out for Ryan Jones. He could be up there. And of course, Jason Martin, you can never count out. But anything can happen in motorsport, and it usually does.
Yes, it does, especially if you've got M&Ms on your car, to be honest. That's always a bad sign. No, I love that livery. I don't know if we're supposed to be doing it live on a broadcast, but that's okay. I love that livery. Look, we are too wide. We're getting ready to go as Ryan gets really close to Lockie there on the restart. What do you do with Skirly? Is you going to call this? Is he going to jump early like he's done the last couple of times, or is he going to hold him up like he did on that other restart earlier on?
I think we'll see him just wait until he's just on the sort of towards the edge of the corner to try and get the best drive he can. Try and make Hamish have to run slightly higher, slightly just have a little bit more input in his steering wheel. Look at how close they're all getting. I reckon we're going to see Skurlock drop his foot. He's waiting, and he does it now. Gets away nicely there for Skurlock. Gets a good launch and gets away nice and clean up at the front. Moves himself up high to defend. Lachlan Urquhart trying to get underneath Hamish Gallagher. Doesn't quite make it. Dave Douglas sitting in fourth position at the moment. They are getting to the line. Dave Douglas looking to make a lunge on Urquhart. He does. He makes a big lunge there down towards the corner. Urquhart on the outside. He should have a good run off the line. The white flag will be coming out. We are getting to the end of this race. Dave Douglas loses it. Big snap, and he just saves it. Thankfully for Douglas. Will he get back? He just makes contact with Joshua Carroll Walden. There's a huge check up behind. Dyson's gone around, but we will remain green to the end. It is going to be Skurlock up at the front. Skurlock coming to take the win here tonight ahead of Hamish Gallagher and Lachlan Urquhart in third position. Ryan Jones comes home in fourth with Jason Martin in fifth. We're going to have a little bit of a look back now.
Because David Douglas hasn't even got across the start-finish line yet. So he's actually dropped well back as Stevie Dub's the last one to come around past the judge. Let's unpack that. Let's go back. Instant replay. 30 seconds.
Dave Douglas. So, Dave Douglas had an adventurous last lap.
Where do you want to start, Carl? Let's start with Dave Douglas.
Yeah, let's...
Who has ended up 16th officially on mine.
Yeah, he had a big spin latterly in that lap. So if we go back to the start of that so Dave tried for that late lunge on Lachlan Urquhart. He gets underneath him and he loses the rear on the exit. And that's where they started. He tries to hold it.
Okay.
And then he comes back on track and then loses it again in the corner and just makes contact with Joshua Carroll Walden and Aidan Schultz. And then Andrew Dyson spins around in the background. There's a huge crash. Then Dave Douglas, Aidan Schultz makes contact. Dave Douglas actually turns Aidan Schultz back in the right direction. Aidan Schultz catches Dave Douglas. Dave Douglas gets completely spun around. And that makes Aidan Schultz finish in 6th. Josh Mickelmont finishes in 7th. Adam Malone in 8th. Norman Clark 9th. Joshua Carroll Walden in 10th. That was a chaotic finish there. And I imagine that it's going to be a busy night for the stewards.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see. Not how you want to finish a race at all. Especially with the only one green-white checker. It's really affected this position. We've seen Norman Clark come up to 9th in the end here, which is obviously great for him. However, you know, that's half the field gone. Like Aidan Schultz was in such a good run tonight. He still ended up 6th, actually, so it's actually helped him out a little bit further. As we see, that's where the second part happened to Davey Douglas. Let's follow it again as he sits in the middle and drives the wrong way on the track. Flick spins it, and that could be a penalty. You reckon, Carl, or not?
I can't call at the moment.
It's going to be
That's going to have to be reviewed. Yeah, there's going to be a few reviews tonight from some incidents, unfortunately. But there was a huge accident on that white flag lap, and that was a big chaotic end, and that really made some differences for some guys. It promoted some guys up. We saw Maddie Ray get knocked out for that sort of early caution. He ended up in P18, so he gained 10 positions still. Jamie Nankervis up in P11 as well, so he had a big game. Greg Spencer, 13 positions gained tonight.
Sorry, I'm still trying to look at this. This is the crash. We've got it live, not live. We've got it. We're on board here with, I think, is it Ruben Phelps? Let's have a look from his cockpit just quickly. I know we've got a whole heap of stuff we've got to do, but live from his at full speed from his cockpit.
He almost makes it through, and then it's just absolute bedlam, and unfortunately, it just caused a lot of issues down the rest of the field, and it caught a lot of cars out, and it really shuffled the order up from those positions. So that is, as I say, it's devastating for some, but it's actually helped out a couple of other people.
It's basically flipped the field, a whole heap of them on their head, and as we look at the biggest gainers of the field, Greg Spencer's now the biggest gainer of the field, 13 positions up to 12th.
If you want to be on board of somebody, I'd say Josh Micklemore would be well worth checking out in that chaos, because he was down in, I think, 16th at the start of that. The start of that bedlam.
Okay, so here's the bedlam happening right now. We're on board the gyro camera. It's all happened in front of him. What does it's parted. It's parted again. And then Aiden Schultz and Dave Douglas are in front,
and then it just sneaked it underneath Dave Douglas and gets it home into. That was great situational awareness there. That was, a fantastic job.
Let's have a look from I just want to have a look at the top of this one. Then we'll get on to summarising this and looking at the results. But that is one hell of a drive from Josh Micklemore, overtaking probably.
He went from 16th to 7th there, so that was a fairly decent little couple of corners. But just keeping the car in the right place at the right time, knowing when to brake, knowing when to lift off, and those are all the things that you don't just get overnight. It's something that you sort of learn and you just get used to, and that was a great job there to have the avoidance.
Yes, that's it.
But yeah, that was a very that was a very messy final lap, unfortunately, to what was a really good race up until the final stages there.
Okay, so let's go. Sorry, I was going to say, let's go to Mad As Designs, sponsored tonight's race. So let's go and look at the leaderboard for the results for him. So if you want to run through them for me, Carl, while I will get over this.
Yeah, so we'll just quickly run through the top 10, and we'll grab up the interviews after that. So Michael Scullock taking the victory tonight. Hamish Gallagher in second, third for Urquio, fourth for Ryan Jones, Jason Martin in fifth, sixth for Aiden Schultz, seventh for Josh Micklemore, eighth for Adam Malone, Norman Clark in 10th, and Norman Clark in 9th, and Joshua Carroll-Walden in 10th position.
I didn't know what you were doing there. So let's go to, when you're ready, let me know.
So we'll grab up Lachlan Urquio for in one moment. Sorry, as I quickly get this sorted out for Dogbox Racing. There we go.
Just give me 2 seconds.
Oh,
we're good.
To the head of Wilco there. There we go. Lachlan Urquio, welcome back to the booth, Lockie. It's always a pleasure to have you, and congratulations on a P3 finish tonight.
Yeah, it's much nicer than wrecking out, I'll have to say that much. No, it was a good race tonight, actually. I really, really enjoyed it. I love this track, and to come away with a result is a great feeling.
Well, we were talking a little bit about the short track pedigree you have, and you're not too bad on these places, and you proved it again tonight, having a really strong run up there, really good defence at the end as well. Just managing to keep Dave Douglas behind you and keep that third place secured.
It was comfy. I don't think Dave had much for me. It was really easy to defend around here. It was quite a difficult one to overtake. So I think I felt confident I could get Dave, especially running through one on the high side. But it would have been nice to see how we went. But unfortunately, I think Dave fell foul to the bumps on the inside of the exit of 4 there.
Yes, he very much did. I'm sure you'll watch the replay of that one and see exactly what happened. There may have been a little bit of carnage. But up to that final section, you were running really well all night. It looked like you had pace in the car to spare a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think my qualifying hurt me a little bit in terms of maybe running and having a go at Skirley for the win. But it was nice to move forward slowly in that first stint and get up to P3 and then basically just park it there for the rest of the race.
You absolutely secured that spot tonight. Wilco, anything for Lockie?
Lockie's just a legend, and I love having him up here. It's been too long, mate. I've just been trying to work cameras to get your camera on here, so let's give you a little bit more while your car's actually on screen now. What was your favourite part about tonight, mate? What part of it?
Probably the fact that every 20 laps I kept getting dizzy spells because I've got a middle ear infection and I managed to still hold on.
That doesn't sound very good.
Interesting. No, when the track starts swimming in front of you, I don't know if you noticed every now and then I'd lose a couple tenths on Hamish and then gain them back. That was basically what was happening.
Well, that answers a lot because I think you went from like 1 second out to 1.5 and then back to 1. I just thought you were driving really well all of a sudden, but now we know.
No, there was like a sort of a buffer of dirty air which you couldn't really get into, and every now and then I'd have a dizzy spell, back off, and then get back up to that buffer of air, and then we'd be stuck there.
So I see the casting couch is probably showing off what's going on in that last lap. What could you see from your rear vision mirror of what happened?
I saw Dave on my left inside. I heard inside clear. I looked up in the rear vision mirror and he was gone.
Okay. So you might have to look at the replay. There's a lot of smoke in your background. There's a lot of cars, and it'll be interesting for the stewards to find out exactly what happened.
I'll have to go back and have a look. Sounds like there's a bit of chaos.
So before you go back and look at the casting couch's live feed, who do you want to thank, mate?
I'd love to thank the guys at Murphy's Mitre 10 for letting me run the stickers on the car. I love the guys there. They do a great job, and it's nice to be able to run a car that isn't completely white, because otherwise that'd be it. So it was big thanks to them, and pretty much just big thanks to you guys for running the stream, putting on a good show, giving me something to go back and watch tomorrow night after the cup race. So cheers, guys.
No problems at all. That is it. Thank you, Ash. We'll catch you probably the next week or two. I'm sure you'll be up here once again soon.
That's the aim anyway, boys. Catch us later.
Cheers, Lockie. So Lockie having a good run. He's going to hope to repeat that one tomorrow in the Cup. So next up, we will grab up the 13 of Mr. Hamish Gallagher for Mitch Motorsport.
Never heard of him.
Welcome back to the booth, Hamish Gallagher. Always a pleasure to have you up here. Well done on a solid P2 finish tonight. It definitely didn't look easy out there for you tonight.
Yeah, no, she was a handful, eh, mate? What are you wearing tonight, Carl? What's going on here?
We're on a Hawaiian vacation tonight. What are you talking about?
Oh, nice.
Well, it's actually Tasmanian devil vampires.
Oh, that's what it is.
Is that something?
Yeah, it's just the usual, you know.
Definitely wasn't my first go-to when I looked at it, put it that way.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, I've got to try something different now and again. It was more relaxed race tonight. That's the thing. Hard battle up the front for you tonight. Looks like you were really, really trying to take it to Skirley, but also having to defend against Lockie most of the night.
Yeah, no, it was a weird race, eh? I did like 20 lap run in practice, and car felt great. And I was like, oh, it didn't change at all. So I bowled into the race, and I was like, why is everyone so slow at the start? And I just raced past them, and then got about 15 laps in. I was like, oh, car was awful. And I was just as soon as Skirley got back to me, I just let him go, and then I think I was going to drop like a rock there, but luckily that caution saved me. And after that, I just sort of putted around like a grandma, basically. It was sort of the only way you could drive the car. It was weird. But, yeah, no, I'm just glad I survived. If Lockie, I probably would have let Lockie go as well at the end there, because I think he was faster than me. and he's been real patient. So, I respected the way he was racing me, and if he got to me, I probably would let him go. But yeah, got a bit chaotic there at the end. So I'm glad I survived.
Yeah, we saw some chaos out there. I mean, obviously, you probably didn't see too much of it yourself, other than the smoke in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, no, I watched go watch Micklemore's last lap. He went from about 18th to a 7th or something like that.
Yeah,
It was days of thunder style. Yeah, no,
we bought that one up.
oh, nice. Yeah, no, it was unbelievable. It was crazy.
No,
Have
look,
to go back and watch the stream and see what happened, because yeah, sounds like it was interesting the last few laps.
yeah, there was a bit of madness there at the end, unfortunately. Green white checkers, they tend to get a bit dicey. What was your strategy on the restart there?
Yeah, I was just try and clear Lockie and then hold on, because the car was really, really weird to drive. It was real skatey. It was like no feeling in it, so you go into the corner, you didn't know if you were going to slide, understeer, or oversteer. So I was just doing whatever I could to try and stay a Lockie, so you can get a nose in. And I don't think I really had anything for Skirley. He had thing locked up. He was just too good tonight. So I was just trying to down the P2, which I managed to do. So I'm glad with that.
Look, when your worst finish of the season is pretty much a P2, you're not having a bad one at the moment. I mean, obviously this is good championship wise again.
Yeah, no, it's good. Shame about what happened to J. Russ. He was having a cracker of a race, starting dead last, and I saw him in a relative P5 or whatever. Like, ooh, it's pretty hard to pass in this car here, but yeah, you're making it work. So yeah, unfortunately, he had his pit road issue, which is a shame. But yeah, no, it's another good fun race tonight.
Yes, did you know if he had a disconnect as well, or was that just
No, he got done for speeding, so he just parked it after that.
Okay, that makes a bit of sense, because he did vanish all of a sudden. But he was having a great race. He was the biggest mover. He was up 21 odd positions, and we were following him fairly well through in the race. Obviously, being a championship contender, we thought his internet had died, but yeah, no, that makes sense now. Look,
yeah.
Hamish, we're sick and tired of talking to you because we run out of things to talk about eventually. But what are you going to do to be better than Skirley? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to go back to motivational videos, or what?
Oi, this is his first win, isn't it? Calm down, mate. Well, he's probably just getting started. He's going to be a good challenge, old Skirley. He's been around a long time. He knows what he's doing. So, yeah, it will be fun. It's going to be a couple of interesting races. We've got Martinsville and Talladega. Anything can happen there. So who knows what's going to happen. Yeah, but bring it on.
The little tip, he's not very good at Talladega, so don't worry about him. He's not good at all there. So
he's got a good teammate. He knows what he's doing. Oh, and Double D. So if they get hooked up, they'll be all right.
I don't know if Double D will be racing at this stage come Talladega, but we'll see. Look, thank you so much tonight for joining us once again. I'll book your spot on the thing next week as well. But who do you want to shout out, mate?
Funny, mate. I'll give a shout out to Mad As Designs. I believe they were the naming right sponsors for tonight. Couldn't quite get in the win. Got close. Just shout out, obviously, to Skirley and the Lockie. Great race for both of those guys. And, yep, just to you guys as well, Locked On Boys. You guys have been doing a killer job for the broadcast so far this year. It's been great to watch. And just ANZCAR and all the other Mitch boys as well.
Definitely, thank you. I don't think you'll think we're doing a great job after tonight. I've been called out for being biased, and I've also had some very bad... We did a new overlay tonight, and it didn't work. So it's definitely not the best anyway.
Technical issues, more technical issues. It's fine. It's fine.
That's what we're here for.
Issues, yeah. It's
all good.
good.
Anyway, thank you so much, Hamish. We'll kick you out, or Carl will get that joy, and we'll get the next person in. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you next week, I assume.
Thanks, guys.
We'll keep your seat warm for next week. And finally, we will grab the man with the moustache, the Michael Skurlock, the winner of tonight's race. Skirley, the BMX bandit himself, congratulations on an absolute dominant victory there.
Hello, thank you. That was that actually means a lot to me, that race. I was I don't know, it was only the other day I was talking to everyone about how I've dropped off a bit, and I haven't been able to start a race from the front and actually finish in front. I got a few poles, but never been able to run through a whole race and remain, Hamish passed me for a little bit, but I got him back, and then, kept on going and won. So got the confidence back up. Better look out.
Oh, that's a dangerous thing. You with confidence. That's always a scary prospect. It hasn't been the easiest season for you, as you're saying. There's been a couple of moments this year, but that was a Skurlock-esque performance tonight. It was back to normal situation, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, it was strange. I didn't really like. I wasn't going to race tonight because I wasn't feeling that good, and I was just tired. And I was like, I'll do it because Dave rocked up eventually. So I was like, all right, I'll liven up a bit, and then didn't really like the car. The car was out of control, and then don't know, something happened in qualifying, and I've managed to, getting a pole is huge there in this track, and being able to control the start. So,
Well, do you know what your whole lap was?
yeah. So I mean, I dialed that in, mate. I got that.
Exactly.
I preempted that.
It was meant to be tonight. It was meant to be the 350 all the way there. No, obviously, look, that was a really good run. Those restarts tonight as well. You were absolutely on fire.
Yeah, well, that was everything towards the end. Just making sure that Hamish didn't, because I've been caught out a few times with Russell. I think it was. He's really good at jumping those starts, like when he's not the leader. I don't know how he does it, but it's like he's in your brain, man. Hamish, yeah, he was getting pretty good, and then I had to keep changing it up. An event, luckily it worked for me.
Yeah, that last restart, we saw you just holding off as long as you could, and you absolutely timed that one to perfection. Obviously, green-white checker, it's not always the favourite thing, especially when you're in the lead. Did that cause you a bit of worry?
Yeah, definitely. I was stressing a bit because I was like, the actual long run stuff was working for me. And I know that early on in the race, Hamish come flying past me and I couldn't do anything about it. So I was like, oh no, if he remembers how to do that, I'm sort of in trouble here. But I did try and wind it up a bit more and it seemed to work. And I just held me line and it worked, mate. So
No,
keep taking the blue chews, mate. It seems to work.
It worked very well. Wilco.
Yeah, look, mate, another great performance from you against Gurley tonight. First win for the season for Thunder. Very good time to do it. But yeah, those restarts. There was one in the middle there. You held up Hamish. You almost looked like he was a car length in front. How long were you going to let him go before you jumped?
Yeah, I didn't really mind that he was there because I knew it's like when that outside car gets past you, then he's in trouble really because he's got no idea when I'm going. So he can't really gauge my car that well from in front. So I didn't really care. I guess it was enabling him to get into second easier because no matter what, if you're the jumper, you're going to get the lead. Yeah, I just didn't want to spin out. That's the worrying thing is planting the throttle and changing into third and then hoping that rear doesn't come out on the restarts. And that's what kept happening because I'm not allowed to change lanes before the start-finish line. I was going early and I was actually turning the corner flat out, just praying it wasn't going to slide out.
Yeah, no, they're definitely a highlight of the night, those restarts. But tell me, how much faster can this car go at Talladega? That's what I'm looking forward to. You at Talladega on the Super Speedway.
Oh no, it depends if I've got Davo behind me. If Double D gets in behind me, then I've got a good chance of just taking off on that. But yeah, because he's a good pusher. But I don't know. I mean, those are just crapshoots, man. Like, I'm not a huge fan of them just because it's just much luck as it is skill there.
Now, quickly, too.
It's fun though, but yeah.
Yeah, you're in the chat with Dave Douglas tonight, obviously.
Yeah.
What happened on that last lap? How many words came out of his mouth that you don't like?
No, yeah, I was actually, we were watching, he was sharing his screen before to everyone in the green room, and I was like, man, there was a lot of stuff going on back there that I didn't know about, like when you're in front, it's just cruisy. It's actually easy. But yeah, he was watching, he didn't mean to, like, it was bits of netcode, bits of all sorts, and everything just went wrong all at once by the looks of it. And it looked like just everybody just got clustered into turn 2 there. Or turn 3, I think. Yeah. Everyone just piled into each other.
Yeah, if you get a chance.
He got loose. I think he got loose on the straight.
He did.
And then he came back.
Parked it in front of a few cars, and then those cars backed up, and then lots of things happened from there on out. Watch Josh Micklemore's if you can. We showed him.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, parted the seas, mate, when he went through there.
Anyway, look, Scully, we've had you on for long enough. I'd talk to you all night if I could, but shout out who those people are that you want to shout out.
Yeah, just the Banditos, the BMX Bandits, and you boys for putting this on. Locked On Lads TV. That's wrong again, isn't it?
No, you got it right. Well done. Very impressed.
All right, there we go. Learning. Yeah, thanks to you guys for putting it on, and yeah, all the other competitors that come and actually give us a race to do. An ANZCAR.
No problems at all, mate. We will talk to you again soon, and no doubt about it. Congratulations on tonight. Started first, finished first. Pretty much never headed it, except for when Hamish was burning his tyres up for some unknown reason. But well done, mate.
Lucky.
And we'll talk to you
Thank
again
you.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Was got there, and that's good for his championship as well. He would have wanted to finish a few places higher than Hamish. Hamish did the job he needed to do championship-wise, finishing just behind Skirley, but that is not bad news for championship-wise for him. That's going to close the gap a little bit there for him in that respect. Of course, we've got more ANZCAR action coming to you tomorrow night, again from Richmond, for the Cup, of course, over on the ANZCAR Facebook page and Performance E streaming. Wilco for Locked On.
Look, I've got two podcasts I need to edit and put up. One is the anniversary stream that we had last Friday night, 2.5 hours of gold. We will see how the audio goes because we had Tim drop out during halfway through on our recording things, so we're going to have to pull the audio live from the feed. We've just got to do that. We also recorded just a news and results one for this week, which I obviously need to edit and put out as well. So look out for 2 episodes coming to your feeds this week, Locked On iRacing Podcast. This is probably the last time you'll see me for about 2 weeks now. I'm on leave, so Carl will be manning the cameras, and we will be talking to someone soon to see if they want to jump in beside him the next couple of weeks. And then when we get back, there won't be much left to do except for get ready for our big fundraising drive we've got for Cure Cancer, part of Superhero Streamers, which just got announced today. We've got 2 weeks worth of gold to bring your way, including racing nights, general gaming nights, race night, like actual I'll be racing rather than just actual putting on a race. We've got podcasts, we've got broadcasts, we've got everything. It'll be finished off with our very first ever broadcast with the Australasian Supercars E-Series on the 8th of May. That'll be the ultimate, the end of the run, the campaign. We are aiming to raise about $3,000 over this 2-week campaign. I'll set up some goals in the next couple of days, but one of them will be me wearing a suit on that broadcast. If we get to a certain spot, I will look as dapper as Carl does, but not unless we get to that goal. But look out for a Legends night on a Friday night. We're looking at probably around about the 28th of April. We'll have 3 Legends races around a short course that we will bring to you fairly soon. And we're also talking about going back to the original Division days and Division 1 playing a survival night on stream. But I'm also toying with an idea of racing about 6 Skippy races in a row as a major stream one night as well.
Madman.
Yeah, we'll see how much iRating I can lose in one night. For a good cause, let's go for it. But that's what we've got planned. Like I said, 2 weeks holidays now. You won't hear much from me till then, and I'll be back a bit after Easter. But yeah, that's it. I've gone on too long. Let's finish this thing up.
We will indeed. So we will see you all again next week at Darlington, of course. Another tricky short track. So Wilco getting off easy, I think. Not having to do his direction for that one. I know why he's moving and getting all this done. So yeah. Damn you, Wilco. But no, we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you all for watching tonight. And if you can leave with the old like, subscribe, and all those kind of things, they do help with the channel. Yada yada.
I'm supposed to be promoting our stuff. That's what I'm here for.
I know, promote stuff. It's not like I promote stuff. Who does? Who would promote stuff? Who promotes themselves? I don't know. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all again soon. Good night.
Good night.